What's up, you Michigan State DGens? Grab you a cup of coffee. It's 9 a.m. here on a Saturday, and I got my boy Beastie with me. We're going to talk some Michigan State basketball. We got to look at a little bit of the line changes in some of these NFL games. We got some hockey. We got some Red Wings tonight against Toronto. We got all kinds of stuff to talk about. But before we get to that, let's bring the Beastie man in here. What's going on, Beastie? How's it going?
It's good. Yeah, I'm on my second cup of coffee. It's around here somewhere. I'm jazzed up. I'm ready to go. One day closer to Championship Sunday, which is, I've just hit that over the head with a bat here. That's probably one of my favorite, sports weekends of all time. Maybe aside from Wild Card Weekend, but Championship Sunday is upon us. Probably a little bit more than 24 hours. Seeing it, it's only 9 a.m. right now. But I got up, got out of bed, made some coffee, and I'm ready to go. I'm amped up to talk anything and everything Detroit sports with you, with Spence producing this thing. I'm absolutely jazzed up right now, and I don't think I've ever said that in my life, jazzed up, but I did already twice now.
Yeah, you're playing that NBA basketball a little too much. But you know what it is, Beastie? I mean, shit. After them games last weekend with the NFL, I mean, how can you? That's hard. That's gonna be hard to top. I mean, that Buffalo Kansas City game, as we know, I mean, was absolutely phenomenal. And then, on top of that, Beastie, we get that Super Bowl ad thing dropping with all the Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and Eminem and Mary J. Blige. I mean, I was like, what the hell's going on? This is fabulous here. That fired me up. So it's like the NFL. It definitely has our attention, with the recent chain of events here. But yeah, exciting stuff there. Definitely looking forward to those games tomorrow. Of course, we'll be here tomorrow breaking all that down for you. But Chris, guess what? We're talking with the beer man, and we may end up getting Mr. Aaron Rodgers to find him a new spot. So hey, maybe we'll give him our sponsor's number, Better Rate Mortgage. At Better Rate Mortgage, family is more than blood. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family, actually better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit mybetterrate.com or call 248-480-4467 today. So appreciate those guys. So yeah, we'll have to tweet out their number to Aaron Rodgers. Maybe he's going to need somebody here. But Chris, we got a big basketball game today. We got Michigan State. I know there are some people still sore about Michigan missing out on the last game, but kind of looking forward to that. I think here early game we got 12:30. So the spreads here came out a little later, so not quite sure exactly what those are going to be, but I'm going to guess here, Beastie, that we looking at the Sparties -4.5, 5. I'm going to guess about 140, 142 will probably be the over/under here. But Beastie, what do you think about this big game here? Are you going to 12:30? We got 3.5 hours, midday afternoon basketball. I mean, it doesn't get much better than this, especially with these two teams giving it a go.
I agree. And we have to, you and I, at least, or anybody that's watching this video Saturday at 9 a.m, you must be really about, gambling and playing DFS and sports betting and stuff. But I will say this game has a different meaning to us than most other people, aside from the kids in East Lansing and the kids in Ann Arbor. So basketball game, hockey game, it's not quite the same as the football game here, but it still carries over. It spills over when these two teams get together, the hatred runs deep. Now, I know I've dated a lot of girls that went to Michigan State or they graduated from Michigan State. I've dated a few from that, graduated or went to U of M here, and nobody from these two schools likes each other. You can probably, go through these dating apps and you'll find someone that did their undergrad at Michigan and then did graduate school at Michigan State, and they still, it's just an odd occurrence here. And when you look at Juwan Howard here, I believe he's the right dude for the job. I mean, he's got the Michigan Wolverines, rolling the last few seasons. They've lost some players. They're back at it again here. He's just a good ambassador for the city of Ann Arbor and U of M sports in general. He supports Harbaugh and the football program. Harbaugh and the football program, supports Michigan. And when you look at Michigan State here, you can tell I'm not exactly stalling because I don't know too much about both of these teams right now at Saturday, but I'm trying to paint a picture that's bigger than the basketball game today that you can take with you with this guy here. Izzo he's a living legend, right? He's an institution at Michigan State. How many times is he going to go to the NBA? Well, what's he going to do? And he still comes back to Michigan State because I would imagine Izzo in East Lansing on Michigan State campus is the closest thing you can get to just like being a king, right? He probably never pays for anything. He can move around here, and you curtail it season to season here. And when we look at this game today, in a few hours, right? Again, as you said, you kind of guess the lines here, the spreads, the over-unders here, and you would be right. Michigan State will probably be giving Michigan, 7.5 points. It could probably even, be at around 6 or 6.5 points. And again, I know it's corny to say this, right? When they play hockey or football here, you could throw the records out. It's a rivalry here, but realistically, you can do that. It's still early, in the basketball season. We know, a lot of these good teams, maybe they'll lose their first, game of the season, and it doesn't derail you when you go to March Madness, when you go to the NCAA championship. But that's all well and good. But we have a game here today, Michigan State, and these kids that they're going to play a little bit harder. They're going to hate a little bit longer, right? Because they just don't like each other. They're kind of grown up from a young age here. If you're going to go to Michigan, it's basically set in stone as you're born, right? I want to play basketball at Michigan State. I want to play football at Michigan here. And it's just a long drawn out thing here between these two organizations here. And to be fair, everybody, I'd like to think that they know that you're a Michigan fan. I'm a Michigan fan, but I don't let it kind of sway me, my homerism in a way. I don't let it sway me from making, business decisions with my money when I'm betting or when I'm playing DFS here. And again, will Michigan State win and cover? More than likely, but will I move my money, all my chips to Michigan just because I'm a Michigan guy? Absolutely. And that's just something I'm able to do as I see fit. What's the last few days look like for me as I bet, right? Do I have a couple extra funds to lose here? And again, I'm saying it now. I think Michigan State wins this game. I think the under comes in as well, but I think Michigan State wins. They cover, but I won't let it stop me from being like excited or live betting. I know you always talk about how you love to live bet here, and I'll be doing that as well. I'm going to book a few things once we're done here with this broadcast, but I'm going to move my funds to Michigan in this one just because it'll be fun. It's Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon in advance of Championship Sunday. Just let the action just, course through our veins here, like, Ultimate Warrior here. I'm getting the Friday guy on the toilet rubbing his his spray can here. So Spence must be a Michigan State guy, but I won't hold that against him here.
Yeah, Sparty, we got some Sparty blood over there with Spencer. Hey, that's okay. We love it. I mean, that's the part. I mean, he already knows whoever I got our man Braylon's jersey on here for Michigan. I'm looking forward to this one. I mean, obviously, with a little bit of controversy we had 3 weeks ago with the COVID issues that caused Michigan to miss a few games. I mean, recently, I've been hearing about Michigan, how they're a little disappointed with how they're playing defense. Juwan is just beating into their heads about fighting to get through screens, trying to get that rebound, trying to get that box out. He's been really harping on him one possession at a time. So he's been happier here recently with how his team has been showing up defensively. And I know on the other side, Izzo, of course, is never going to be happy with his team at this time of year. It's just not how he operates, of course. He usually likes to get beat up, and they get better as they go. Obviously, that's been how the Sparties have operated for years. But I mean, the turnovers have got to be killing Izzo. I mean, they had 9 first-half turnovers in that loss against Illinois, which turned into 15 points for him. So I know that's been bugging them. They did clean it up a little bit there in the second half. So, I mean, Michigan State cleans up those turnovers. I do just think Michigan State has a little bit better team here, and it's tough to win on the road, especially in the Big Ten. I think the Spartans are going to be fired up for this game. And Beastie, I'm with you. Even though I'm a Michigan fan, I mean, I might be looking at some alternative lines to where, maybe the Michigan, I can get them at a little bit more points. I just don't think they got enough here for Michigan State. I hate to say it, but for me, I think I'd be looking at betting here on the Sparties. You just look recently here. Michigan is 2-6 in their last 8 games here against the spread. The only victories coming against Indiana and Maryland. They ended up not covering against Illinois, not covering against Rutgers, not covering against UCF, and then of course that last Northwestern game, which I was on Michigan. Now the Spartans, they have struggled a little bit too. They actually are 3-3 in their last 6, 3-4 if you want to include the game on the 29th to High Point or HP, whoever the hell that is, but they didn't cover that game. But also here we got recently covered the last 2 in a row, but Sparties blew out Wisconsin, which I remember the beer man was liking Wisconsin in that one. But yeah, Chris, I think this one here for me, just looking at some of the trends here, for these two teams. Let's see here, head to head. I mean, the Spartans have, let's see here. Looks like the Sparties have covered the last 2 or 3 here. I know the unders hit the last 2. It's been about 138, 139. But Beastie, I got to agree with you, man. I think I like the Sparties here. I think I like the under today's game. But, yeah, I'll be looking forward to this one. 12:30 here starts. So, I don't know, Beastie. If Michigan wins, I'll be pleasantly surprised. Let's say that. I just don't think they're playing well enough to go into East Lansing. Even when they're playing well, Chris, it seems like it's a tough place for them to get a victory. So, I mean, I'm not going to be a fool here. I mean, I'm still a fan. I'll be rooting. But I think I'd rather maybe just bet the under, like you were saying.
Yeah, very true. Again, it's hostile territory, whether it's Michigan and East Lansing or, Michigan State and Ann Arbor. I mean, you're going to get a droves of students or fans that travel. I mean, Michigan always travels well, as does Michigan State. Football bowl games, hockey games, basketball games here, and it's going to be good. And I would imagine Michigan will, they'll keep it close throughout the first half here. But again, like most basketball games, the better team kind of asserts their dominance, in the midway through the second half here. And I believe State pulls away. To be fair, I think State wins by double digits in this one, but not a ton. I mean, double digit is a double digit, but you're looking at like 12 or 13 points that they'll win by here. So go Spartans, go green, go white, I think the saying is. I don't think I've ever said that in my life, but hey, Woodward Sports makes me do crazy things.
Hey, I mean, playing with your money and playing with your heart are two different things. I mean, I try generally not to bet on my teams in like situation like this. It's just like a double kick in the nuts. I mean, your team already lost, you're already upset. I mean, maybe throw in a few bucks if you want to just play around, but I wouldn't throw any kind of, significant money at a game like that. It's just too much emotionally involved for me. But I will tell you one thing I'll be throwing some money at this weekend, Beastie, is these 2 NFL games tomorrow, these championship Sunday, one of my favorite days of the year. I mean, you get 2 championship games, whoever wins, as we know, gets to obviously go to the Super Bowl. It's a little different for us. I mean, this is, in Detroit, this is about the closest, we can say our ex-girlfriend, Matt Stafford, is, on the doorstep of the Super Bowl. I know it's been a big topic, especially around Woodward. We know Adam from the morning show is, he's rooting on Matt Stafford like no tomorrow. And hey, my first few shows here on the Woodward Bets Network, Chris, I told everybody to bet on Stafford to win the Super Bowl, because we already should know how this story ends here in Detroit. We know that Stafford is going to get. I mean, it was so obvious for me to see. It's right here in front of our eyes. I just think it's going to happen. So Adam wants to party it up on Monday morning on the morning show if Stafford gets to the Super Bowl. And I tell you what, I'll be right there with him partying, because I'm rooting on Matt Stafford and the Rams to get there. I mean, we're looking at the lines here. We're just going to look real quick and see if there's any line movements that we see. I know we talked about a little bit earlier in the week, but the Rams are still -3.5. That's been pretty much staying put across the board all over. that over under
going here, but I don't think that 3.5 changes much. It's literally been that way all week. So what would a few more hours, go to change, the odds here? But to me, I'm going to be paying close attention to which way I'm leaning, final score wise. And I'll have that for you and everybody else, Sunday morning in studio here, Scott.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to both these games, actually. All these games last weekend were decided on the last play. Whether it be a field goal, whether it was that touchdown in that Chiefs game. So, that half point, I'd really like the Rams a little bit better if it was 3. So maybe as we get closer, maybe some 49er money will come in late and we might be able to catch the Rams at 3. But either way, we'll keep our ears to the ground here. But wanted to also hear Beastie talk about, give a shout out to our other sponsor of the show here, and that is Jars Cannabis. So just wanted to, hold on, let me pull it up here. Of course, I didn't have it pulled up. Of course, that's my bad. But I went over there the other day, actually, as you guys know, and checked it out. Had a good time over there. They hooked me up with a couple pre-rolls, which I thoroughly enjoy. But see here, my computer, I tell you, maybe we can get us a blooper show. We can put this one on it. But either way here, let me I'll just pull it up this way. So Jars Cannabis, getting all kinds of time here. ShopJarsCannabis.com. They offer delivery, pickup, and in-store shopping. Michigan's largest variety for any of the lifestyle needs. Jars Cannabis is a medical and recreational retailer located throughout Michigan, Lansing, Flint, Detroit, Grand Rapids, and more. And hey, if you mention Woodward Sports, you get 20% off any of your order at any Jars location. So hey, get a couple free pre-rolls from us. So when you're smoking that, send us a shout out. We always like to hear about you guys supporting the sponsor. But Beastie, we got 6 games in the NBA tonight. It's a little early here, 9 a.m. I'd be doing you a disservice if I started breaking down any of this basketball here tonight. One thing I would kind of always pay attention, anybody on the second half of back-to-back, just make sure you're watching all of that. But if so, maybe we'll throw out a couple of best bets on the Woodward Bets Twitter page tonight as it gets close. Like I said, we only got 6 games, and maybe we'll be able to throw out a couple of some core plays, maybe for some cash games. Maybe we can throw something out on the website as well. So a little too early to kind of give NBA just with all the guys in and out. But Beastie, NHL is a little bit easier to predict than NHL or NBA. So we got 11 games on the ice tonight. We got the Red Wings playing another original 6-game. Wings at Toronto. Toronto is minus 230. Red Wings at plus 185. So they're obviously a pretty big dog. But, man, I'll tell you what, Beastie, when I was a kid and I'd get that Red Wings schedule, there was always 2 teams that I hunted for. One was the Edmonton Oilers, because Wayne Gretzky was playing, and when I was that age, and Gretzky, and that team was just phenomenal. And then I always look for the Toronto Maple Leafs. It was always fun. It was so close to home, and always have all kinds of Toronto fans in the stands. So that was one I always like to go to. So Beastie, this one here is out in Toronto, but what do you think here? What do you think? The Red Wings got a shot? Looks like they're quite the underdog here today.
No, they don't have any shot, and that's nothing against the Detroit Red Wings. It has everything to do with the big mean machine that is the Toronto Maple Leafs. When I'm looking at, I have a few notes here that I did last night after our Friday broadcast here, and it's all about Austin Matthews, William Nylander, John Tavares, their second line winger. When you look through this thing, Austin Matthews is averaging just about 21 minutes a game. Guy's got 162 shots on goal so far this year. William Nylander, 138 98 shots on goal this year. And then John Tavares, literally third on this list, 126 shots on goal this year. And we all know the saying from The Office. Obviously, it was Wayne Gretzky who said it first, but Michael Scott said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Well, look, the Toronto Maple Leafs, will heavily pepper the Red Wings goaltender this evening, whether it's the rookie Alex Nedeljkovic or however the heck you say his last name here. So the Wings, it's going to be about stopping the blood flow right here, because the Toronto Maple Leafs are just going to inundate this young team, and rightfully so. Again, you can look at this one of two ways here, right? The Wings up and coming, and Stevie why we trust, all that stuff, the pleasantries we say throughout the length of a week on the broadcast here. But the Red Wings, they can hang in this game. Let's see where we're at in terms of how the kids are coming together, how some of the veterans like Nick Leddy, if he plays here on defense here. But to me, the Toronto Maple Leafs should win this game with the ease. Won't be an issue here. But to me, it's about, building character here. You're going to lose. I said this earlier in the week, about that game when they let the Chicago Blackhawks, who I can't stand, hang 8 goals at Little Caesars Arena here. I'm not saying that Toronto's going to hang 8 goals or they're going to score that many times here, but we're in line for at least Toronto putting up, 4 or 5 goals in this one, and the shots on goal are going to be insane. So you can look at that one of two ways, as I've already said. Split that one, and then we'll look at it another 2 ways here, with the goalie here. If you're going to play DFS here, whatever Red Wing goalie is getting the start, I would imagine it's Alex Nedeljkovic here, and you could put him in DFS lines and just see what you get here. That has all the makings of maybe he sees 60 shots and maybe he stops 57 of those, so he's going to let in 3 goals, but those 57 saves will kind of project very well for DFS lines here. I mean, it's going to be fun from start to finish. I always love a original 6 matchup, but right now at this moment in time, they're on 2 completely different paths, right? Toronto has already set a standard of, I shouldn't say that, they set a standard of just getting blown out of the playoffs in 7-game series here, but in the regular season, the Toronto Maple Leafs are outstanding, and I don't think that changes here. We're looking at the odds here. Toronto minus 230, and the Wings are plus 185. And I'd like to think I'm optimistic, especially about the hometown teams or overall in DFS slates here. And there's room for optimism here with the Wings, but I just see no way that the Wings can sneak out a win here in Toronto tonight here. So give me the Maple Leafs. If we're going to look at DFS formats, you're going to stack their first line. They'll be heavily favored chalk here, and even their second line here. So you're going to have to look way down deep in the depth chart here and maybe think about their, looking at their third line here, and maybe we can get in on the action there. But to me, the Wings, I love them, but there's no chance here for them in Toronto this evening.
Yeah, Toronto's been pretty good. They're 6-1 their last 7 games within the division. They're 10-3 in their last 13 against the Eastern Conference, and the over is 12-4-1 their last 17 overall. I mean, you look at the Red Wings, the over is 8-1 in their last 9 games playing on back-to-back. So obviously we know they played Pittsburgh last night. So maybe we look at, something like an over. The Maple Leafs are 13-3. The last 16 times these two teams have played. Maple Leafs are 4-5 the last 5 meetings, 4-1 the last 5 meetings in Detroit. But actually the under 10-3-1 the last 14 meetings in LCA. So, but the favorite 20-7 the last few meetings. I was looking at, what these two teams do with the odds that they're at. Minus 200 or more. Beastie, Toronto is 10-3 against the spread, minus 200 or more. So I thought that was interesting. So they've been winning, especially in these games here that they've been big favorites. So I think I'll be looking at, maybe there's sometimes I like to bet the first period. We know the other night didn't work out for me when I had the Wings to win the first period, but I might go over a goal and a half here in this first period in this game. I think that's something you could look at. A lot of times you get that minus like 130, minus 125, somewhere around there. So sometimes that's a decent option you can maybe throw in there. But Beastie, I don't know, man. I think you're right. I mean, the Red Wings, that's somebody they could match themselves up to where you want to be. I mean, Toronto, Matthews, he's something special, obviously. They got a lot of good young players over there. We're getting there, but I just don't think we're quite there yet. But I don't know. What do you think about that over? You think there'll be some goals here, or you kind of like the under?
No, I think it's going to be over in this one, but just to pivot away from this game briefly, I noticed that today there's a lot of good afternoon hockey. The Ducks playing the Senators in Ottawa at 12:30. I mean, that's right around the corner. I love that game. Kings play the Flyers at Wells Fargo Arena in Philadelphia. That's at 1 o'clock, and then the Seattle Kraken are playing the Islanders in New Jersey at let me bring this up, at around 2 o'clock, and then the Jets play the Blues at 3 o'clock here. So I would imagine that on the DFS formats, they'll break this down where you can get an afternoon only. You'll get the main, which locks at 7. And then with it being 7 games here, we're going to get a little after hour specials. The Sabres play Phoenix in Phoenix, and then the Canucks at Flames at 10 p.m. But if I may, if you'll afford me a minute or two, I want to double back to the Anaheim Ducks playing Ottawa at the Canadian Tire Centre. In Canada, they add an E on the end of center, and there's a little inflection on it. But to me, the Anaheim Mighty Ducks, I've been singing their praises all week, even on Thursday when we talked about them, and they scored a bunch of times. And then even the Ottawa Senators here, they've long been kind of talked about like the Buffalo Sabres here, where they stink, you can stack against them. But look at what Ottawa's doing. They've put together a string of wins here, and they're scoring around, I believe, 3.5 to 4 goals a game here. So to me, this one has all the makings of, I can't tell you, we play single game slates all the time when it comes to NFL, but I don't know too many folks that play single game NHL lineups, but I'm going to do it today with this Ottawa and Anaheim Mighty Ducks game. And when I bring it up, I keep looking down to reference my notes. It's kind of shorthand because it's early Saturday morning. I did this stuff Friday night here, but to me, I love the idea of stacking this game every which way. Anaheim's first line with Ottawa's second line, and then we run it back. Josh Norris centering Ottawa's first line and the Anaheim Mighty Ducks second line. So to me, when you look at it, Timon Terry, he plays on their first line for Anaheim, and then Trevor Zegras and even Ryan Getzlaf, all 3 guys on the first line and the first power play unit. We're looking at 95 shots on goal from Terry, 92 from Zegras, and then Ryan Getzlaf, the captain. He's tall and bald like I am, drives a Porsche. I don't know why you would want to do that, being such a tall guy, but Getzlaf, 79 shots on goal. And the thing is with Anaheim's first line, they have massive amounts of production on any given night, and they still fly under the radar in terms of their pricing across the board on both slates. And when we look at the Ottawa Senators here, I love the idea of both of the defensemen, first line defenseman, first power play unit. It starts with Drake Batherson, if I'm not mistaken, and Thomas Chabot. Thomas Chabot is a young kid, up and coming stud. Nobody talks about because he's kind of just wasting away in Ottawa here. But I'm telling you now, Saturday afternoon at 12:30, I'm going to be watching this game because I love hockey, and both teams, maybe it's just predisposed to rooting for underdogs, being from Detroit with the Lions or the Tigers, how they've been as of late here. But this game is going to be outstanding, and I'll promise you now, Scott, I'll promise Easy or Spence, who's producing this right now, I will put together a little something after this broadcast, and we can get it out in the Woodward Sports on Twitter, a couple plays and a couple stacks here. I'll handwrite them too. I love to hand build lineups here, but I'm telling you now, reserve some lineups, some single game entries for the Ducks and Senators here. It's going to be a good one. Even if you're not into hockey, just take my word for it, please. I'd like to think folks can trust me, right, Scott?
Yeah, absolutely. I always write down your hockey lines. Like I said, I won a few times off them. You definitely can't deny that. But Beastie, before we get out of here, wanted to see about some best bets. I mean, we got to look at some stuff here. So let's try to give the people a couple winners here for today. As we mentioned, maybe we'll throw up some stuff. We know it's 9 a.m. It's, a little early here, actually like 9:40 or so. But either way, we'll get you guys some stuff out on our Twitter. So make sure you guys are over there following that. But Beastie, you got a couple bets we can throw for the people?
Absolutely. I'm going to go right back to the same game I just talked about. The Anaheim Mighty Ducks, as I said, they traveled to Ottawa. The over-under opened at 6 goals here. I'm going to take the over in that one. I think we're looking at a final of literally 5-4, maybe 6-5. I mean, we're talking like baseball numbers from this hockey game. So that's why I'm getting in. I'm betting on it. I'm playing the single game slate as well. And then when we go down the list, there's something about this LA Kings game. The hockey team goes to Philadelphia to take on the Flyers. This one, I would imagine it's going to be on NBC Sports, not trying to plug another channel here, but they're big and bad here. But to me, there's going to be a ton of fights in this. So they're penalty minutes. These two teams just don't like each other. LA, some face rubs here. I love the under 6 goals in this one as well. I think we're looking at like a 3-2 final with a lot of penalty minutes. I don't know. Maybe I should have looked into that before we got to the best Begment sent here. But can you bet on over under power play minutes or penalty minutes in this one? I don't know. So give me the under on the Kings Flyers game. Give me the over on Anaheim Ottawa, and give me the over on the Seattle Kraken heading to the Islanders to take on New York here. So that one is at about 5 goals here. I think we can take the over on that one as well. So 3 very early hockey games, all afternoon hockey here on Saturday.
Ah, perfect. Yeah, I got a hockey one too, and I have a college basketball. My hockey one, Beastie, is the over in this Edmonton in Montreal game. Started at 6, already been bumped up to 6.5. But man, every time I see a highlight of McDavid, I mean, that guy, I mean, he had a power play or a shootout the other day, a penalty shot. I mean, he just made the goalie look silly. So it's always fun to root for goals. I'm going to go that way. And then Beastie, I am going to roll with the Michigan State Spartans to beat my Wolverines, our Wolverines today. I hate to do it, but I think the Sparties are going to be a little bit too much at home. They are sitting there waiting for Michigan to walk in. I just don't know if they have the offensive power to keep it going. So, Spencer, I think your boys are going to put one over on the Big Blue today. But, hey, if I'm wrong, then I'll be happy because maybe my team will be able to get a victory. But before we get out of here, Beastie, just want to give out one more shout out to our sponsor here, Better Rate Mortgage. At Better Rate Mortgage, family is more than blood. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family, actually better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit mybetterrate.com or call 248-480-4467. And again, hey, we appreciate all you guys watching. If you get a minute, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button for us. And remember, tomorrow, Beastie and I will be in studio tomorrow breaking down this championship Sunday for this NFL. So we'll be looking forward to that. So for Beastie, for Spencer behind the glass, this is Scott, and we appreciate you watching, and we will catch you tomorrow. Thanks.